Kamashkacha Proteus, Torah Anytime, and Kalaloshin. Come inside, make yourself at home. All the chashuva people somehow end up here. All the chshuvim end up here. That's the matzah. Amen. 4 years ago, I was introduced to a certain professional who was dying of Yeramachla. And he was brought into the room upstairs. Somebody from my chevra brought him over. And a professional, about tshuva, a tighter mensch, and he was mamish, dying mamish. On the spot, it was a terrible thing. He was choking. And he had genomysis, and he was finished. And I says, bring him to me, he's not dying. Forget it. He almost died the other day, yeah. Give me this dying business. I'm not into that sugya. And I hocked him and cuffed for a half an hour. You're fine, stop the garbage. He walked outside, and he was cured. I'm kidding around. He was cured. It was over. And the guy who brought him was like, not shy. And he came to my vad. When we announced it in front of the whole vad that Mendel was a Machayim Mason always. Whatever he did here, Mendel did a job. He saved the guy's life. So I told him, and he says, I had to do with it too, but Mendel had about 80-90% with him. He gave me the credit. And I says, you also, and we were fighting a little bit, and finally I decided, I think the Abishter is also involved. Anyway, he lived 4 years. He was just nifta. I'm dedicating the vad to this person. I had no shaykhs. He doesn't live around here. Big tzaddik. Hashem should help him. Yenabel Tachlis. The Alta's Yortzeit is coming up. It's saying the Novhardik Olam was very, very comfortable with Reb Aaron. His Yortzeit is coming up. Very comfortable, not stum. Reb Nosson, I don't know what he felt about Novhardik, but when he met Reb Gershon, it was over. He was out of his kalim. I remember him telling me, Atzadik Yisayid Olam. He was out of his kalim for him. He gave me a drasha like the Yiddish, and he used to encourage me to go there. Go to Novhardik. Was macht der? The Alta from Novhardik. Now I want to tell you something. I'll tell you about that he said. There are people who have an Azer, but they turn that Azer into a Kenegdai. Oh boy. People don't appreciate you turn the Azer into a Kenegdai. And there are people that have Seichel, and they turn a Kenegdai into an Azer. That's one of the Alta's big betlach. When he missed the train, he would say, look how early we are for the next train. Positive thinking. They asked Reb Chaim Kanevsky, there's an alon about Novhardik in Eretz Yisrael. They keep putting it out. And they asked Reb Chaim, what do you say about Novhardik? And Reb Chaim told one story. It was surprising, that was the story he told, because the Kanevsky family considers themselves Novhardik. I mean, not in my mahalach so much, what I took from Novhardik, that I don't believe they're learning 3 hours muster a day, which I don't either, but at least by me that's, but different. There were two groups in the body. Anyway, they asked Reb Chaim. So Reb Chaim says he said one Maisa with the altar, and the Maisa was that he kicked his own son-in-law out of his yeshiva. His own son-in-law he kicked out of his yeshiva. And his own son-in-law, afterwards, he needed it was not easy. Chaim Shmulevitz, his father, Alter Shmulevitz, what was he doing? In the middle of Musa, he was getting carried away with Lumdus. And the Alter said, out. We don't want you out. And Reb Chaim Kanevsky, of all stories of the Alter, he picked that one. It's interesting. And he said, why did he have to do that in public? And he said, because he wanted to make a roshim. He wanted to make a roshim. And they say he went out of his way to get him what he did for his relatives. He was a Rav. His father's, he should have been the Yerush of his father. His sister needed a shidduch. So he got his sister a shidduch. And how do you get a shidduch? He wanted a chashuv person for his sister. So he told him, you take my sister, you got the job. You'll be the Yerush of my father. You got a Rabbanus. The Alter, what he did for his family, the Ava that he had. I was in the Varmkeit, the whole family, the Varmkeit. Even the Tzugikim, I once spoke to one of the Tzugikim. The Varmkeit going on in that family. The Varmkeit, warm. And warmth is the opposite of gaiva. Don't worry about it. You're fine. But that's what they told me in Novandik. Warmth is the opposite of gaiva. We're all warm. That's official. Nobody's about gaiva, not these days. It's over. Anyway, the Varmkeit. Now, I had the privilege of going on a tour. There were like 200 Bali Musa got together in Russia. The occasion was Rabbi Sol Salanta's yahrzeit in Königsberg. And they got 200 people. I was invited to come and I came along. And very chashuv people were there. Your Weintraub was there. Reb Shlomo Vobel was supposed to be there. A Talmud. There was a reason. That's Slobodka and Navadig. So Salanta. We saw different people there. Went to the Chavetz Chaim's Kever. We went to Volozhin. Volozhin, Slobodka, Kelm, Ramatasyo was there. Ramatasyo was singing Adonai Lama of Kelm. It was at nighttime. Kelm Beis HaKvaros. Somehow I felt a lot of menucha in Kelm. It could be to my head. By the Kelm police station. There was no Kelm, but I felt, I got Kelm. This is it. Anyway, we were in Kelm, city of Kelm, everybody. And it was very emotional. The whole thing was beautiful. And there was a Yid there who was the son, he was in Novandik, the son of Rabbi Yitzchak Olansky, Rabbi Yisrael. Was he a sweetie pie? Not shaykh. Was he sweet like sugar? He had been in Siberia together with his father. His father, Yitzchak Olansky, once told me he saw some kids that didn't look, there were some family issues. And they didn't look like, they looked stressed. They looked tense. And he had such pain to watch them. It bothered them. They don't have a good home. Now, the way he wrote a book about his father, Lapid Eish Navadik. That's what it's called, Navadik. Rabbi Yitzchak Olansky was the last living Talmud in Alta from Novandik and the Alta Slobodka. He had learned in both places. And he left Slobodka to go to Novandik. And he said when he first met the Alta, he said, he's one of those, better watch your move. They said he was in forest for many years, alone in a base of Didas. He was petrified. And he met him, he saw just the opposite. He saw Simcha and Simcha and Simcha. The Alta was one of the boys. He was best friends with every Shegitz. He slapped him on the back. Camaraderie. He had no airs and he was heavy. He was heavy. The Alta from the body was heavy. Medium height. He was heavy. Es gewinn afule. For wanneer is das gewinn? It doesn't make sense. He ate nothing. So, but that was the matzah. There's a Meiser Rabbi Millet says about, that's all. About he met an Elta Zayda or Elta Baba. I think an Elta Zayda. An Elta Yid whose Bubby had seen the Vilna Gaon. Remember the story? Bubby had seen the Vilna Gaon. How did she see the Vilna Gaon? They went to see the Vilna. A bunch of ladies. She was giving birth, Everybody, the minig was to go to the Vilna Gaon. But I'll be Michael me if I joke around a little bit. They didn't have Mendel those days. I'm joking. Do you know how many people had easy ladies? Believe I gave brachas, easy lady. Okay. I'm waiting till, they're going to recognize my greatness and come not just for my bracha, but, that the kid should zoicha to be like, I'm joking. Anyway, I need more covered. I'm never, Yeshamona writes a Messiah. I want more covered. Come on, Rabbi say, lay on thick, you know how great I am? You know you're dealing with, the great person I am. I'm I Givaldi, I'm Masmin and a Tzaddik and an Ovid. I could tell you, my greatness. I just found out something interesting. Rabbi Kotler. My father never told me this, but my father had a job selling Sforim. And those days, there's a lot of shilas with the kashrus at the Sforim. The way my father told me the story, he went to Rabbi Kotler. What should I do? Sell it? It's my parnasa. What should I do? Rabbi opened up a toises in Shabbos, and he said, you're not allowed to sell it. And then he looked up to my father and he said, was the yetzton? With tears in his eyes. What are you going to do now? He started crying. Rabbi, my father was okay. They just helped him. Anyway, but there's another gears I never heard. Chayav of my father. I just heard it from one of the Eneklach. The other gears is like this. I'd rather like the other gears better. This doesn't seem why. He said, the Rabbi said, so my father asked him, what am I going to do now? Rabbi told him, he said, Panasa, I don't know what's going to be with you. Aber gute Kinder gehst du haben. Good kids you're going to have. So that Girsai happened to like. And now it answers a burning issue all these years. How did I become so great? I'm a product of Rabbi's bracha. Now you know the secret. It's okay, Chavah. I'm just joking. Anyway, we're getting back to Rabbi Yitzchak Golansky's Zatzal. Oh, the other guy. Boy, you find out. If you come to my VAD, we're going to need you. We're going to need you to find out where we're up to. It's such a pleasure being a Vardiga. I told you about the guy. He lost where he was up to, and he pulled a fast one through the back door, and he made it fit into what he was saying, and he covered up the fact that he lost his train of thought. I don't cover up nothing. Worst comes to worst, they call it a prop. They get covered. Oh, he keeps losing. It's probably one of his prop. He's probably doing this to get the Zionist. We know him. That's probably what they're saying. So I advise everybody, join the party. You do anything wrong, it's a prop. So he's doing that for and they laugh. It gets people to laugh. It's already a good thing. And you get covered. And I keep telling them, it's not a prod, it's Rachmanis. That's my matzah. And they say, no. We know you. It's a prod. What do? Go fight with them. They all think I'm a holy man. Anyway, so I'll live with that. We'll work that out. So then he said, what happened? So, they're going. So this is the story I heard Rabbi Miller Zatzal told over the story that he met this Alter Yid, who his Bobby, I think it was, knew the guy. And she sort of got a bracha from the guy. And she saw the guy. She came with a bunch of ladies. The pregnant ladies wanted brachas from him. And and they didn't, it wasn't the gear. He needs to take a walk now. That's the way the story goes. He's taking a walk. Ladies, disappear, please. They all dispersed, and the guy took up a walk. I don't know what that means, because I heard, whatever it is, it is. And they walked over a bridge. And she was a smart woman, this fellow's Bubby, and she decided, I'm going to see the Vilna guy. And she was hiding under the bridge as he passed. And she saw that he had a double chin under his beard. And she said, how did that happen? You know how much the guy ate? You know how much he ate? He took a kazayas in 24 hours. That's it. That's why he lived so long. The less you eat, the better it is. Go ahead. You think it's a joke? The less eating is in cup. You need to eat. But it's okay. I eat for different reasons. Anyway, I don't even massacre all the Gulim. Anyway, I'm a sick and chesed. I sit the doctors for holidays. They are oichel. Yom v'layla v'yisa b'yom v'layla to be massacred. What's back there? Pleasure to see you. Anyway, so the Vilna Gaon, he had a double chin. He was heavy. So the pshat that she gave, he ate one kazais and he took a toothpick. That's what they say. He took a toothpick. He made a Altis Yadayim. His Altis Yadayim was, that's what he really ate. And the way he made a bracha, the guy, only guy what he was. We have a picture of him. Anyway, and then he ate the, and that was it. And then he benched. So the question is, for one kazayas in every 24-hour period, how did he get so heavy? And the answer she gave, Taita, the geschmack in learning made him heavy. You heard this, Maisa, never? You heard it? There you go. I was afraid that, who knows? You got the story. Anyway, so I saw the Alta of the body. That was the big question. How do you get so heavy? Anyway, let me tell you this, Rabbi Say. We had a special bus. We had 200 people there. And each bus we were lucky to get this Yisrael Olansky to be our guide for the tour. He was showing us around. We were in Vilna. And remember, he showed us, that's the house of Reb Chaim Moshe. I remember the house. And the way he talked about Reb Chaim Moshe, as giving the tate von all yeshiva, about the Varmkeit, he was oozing with warmth and warmth and warmth and warmth and warmth. The way he spoke, every word he said was, and this is giving Yankala Horovitz, and this is the way everything was a le. Everybody was a bubble by him. He was full of love, the warmth, the way he spoke. And he repeated 20 times, Reb Chaim Moshe giving uns a tate. The way he kept repeating it, Father, the warmth and the warmth and the warmth and the warmth. I took 2 Yidden. Come inside, Rabbi Sai. You got the right place. Come inside. Come inside. Where's the warmth of Navadi coming from? Now, I took 2 younger light to France once. And we went to see Reb Gershon. I remember one thing, Reb Shaul Miller Zatzal should be a schiz for his hailing in the Shama. And another Yid, a tidy Yid, Marty Katz, a tidy Yid. We went together. And we were walking to Orly. Ask anybody in France, in the Valley, Orly. Hashem Orly. Orly is a French name, whatever. But It's a big base up. This is probably still there now. They built it up already. And it's in the middle of the forest, a bubbling brook. You want to learn how to think with using your own head? Move away with an oilam. The abedidus is everyone together is misguided, and you take each other apart and kill each other a little bit. No, I'm worse than you. No, I'm worse than you. I got into a big machlokes with a famous Rav in Lakewood. I won't say his name in public, but I got the biggest. He's not shy. He's a godel. But we got into a fight. What can I do? I'm not perfect. We got into a fight. He told me whenever he gets depressed, he turns me on. And he says every single time I cheer him up because I'm funny. I was getting nervous about, am I still funny? That's if you ever see I look like I didn't sleep well last night because my anxiety issue is, am I still funny? That's very important. Anyway, so he made me feel like $1 million. This is true, by the way. The other part is not true. I sleep good. But so he says, every time he gets depressed, he turns me on. And every single time, it cheers him up. And he is a phenomenal speaker. He's an Adam Godel. And he's also very funny. He's hilarious himself. And he tells me, you are funnier than I am. He told this to me. But Rabin, how did like that one? He knew he knew what I would enjoy hearing. But he wasn't a lie, he really meant it. And then it didn't pass for me to just, he's a funny person. I says, no, I hold you're more funny than I am. And he says, no, I hold you're more funny. I says, no, I hold you're more funny. We got into a fight. We never made up. It's machlokes. You have to do tshuva. You have to have more. Then he had another one. We got into a fight with something else. He told me, I'm a big raid of covet. He says on himself. He says, I tell him, you don't know me. I'm a bigger raid of covet than you. He says, no, I'm bigger than you. We got into another machlokes. Who's a bigger raid of covet? I finally said, I am the raid of covet ador. I'm the official. I'm the raid of covet ador. Anyway, but let's get back to, so the Vamkeit of Reb Gershon. I had my shepherd. First, we were walking through the forest. And he was bringing us, he was so proud to bring the Americans. It was such a schus to visit him, to be mechazik, the place they're coming from the States to see, He mentioned Reb Gershon. The Gatz Oilam geht zu brisk, und zu brisk, And you, Mandel's going to the Valley. That's me. Anyway, nothing wrong with brisk. Brisk is good. There's a story with brisk and the Valley. Of all the good stories there. Have to check out if they're true. But anyway, they had similarities. In fact, I am officially a brisker when it comes to money. I don't go knocking on doors there. I'm totally brisk. Brisk waits for the money to come to you. I do that. I wait and it comes. Oh yes. I'm doing great. I never knock on doors, none of that stuff. And I say, hey, Mr., I need money. Boom. Anyway, it's not as easy as it looks. But David helps me. So, so we saw the way there were thorns in the way. How are you talking? See that? Money's coming into me from all sides. I don't know what it is about me. Wherever I go, the money flies from all directions. The money's right the fifth to me. Anyway, so what happened? That what?
Says that if someone would lock themselves in a room in their basement somewhere, the money that you're supposed to get in Rosh Hashanah would come to him.
That's what he said? Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah? He says that. Yeah, they're very good. Let's try it. Yeah? We're going to become millionaires. Anyway, so what happened? So he was passing through thorns. We were going through the woods. It's full of woods. It's murder. It's healthy to hang around woods and be alone. Your mind isn't dominated by Yom Rabrius. You're thinking for a change. You think your brains are yours? Oh, lonely. Your brains are total his opinion, and her opinion, your Rebbetzin, and it could be your 2-year-old daughter is also part of the picture, because if you do things she doesn't like, then you're in trouble. So her opinion becomes a whole big zach, and the Shviga's opinion, of course, I'm joking. You should know, I want to say something about the ladies, because I make a lot of fun. I don't mean it. Nobody should say that, chas v'shalom. If not for those 2 holy ladies, the Imayis, we'd be able to the others for Kodesh Kodashim, but if not for the Sari Imenu, what your Shema would have done, thanks to the Mama Sarah, and the Eibishter was on the lady's side, and if not for the Mama Rivka, Asa would have gotten the brachas, Jewish ladies. You know what a Jewish lady is? Now I have to somehow rectify what I just did now. The men are in trouble now. I'm joking. Anyway, they're not in trouble. The ladies understand that the men are still the men. That's them. Anyway, so what was I saying? So he passed through. There were thorns over there. And Reb Shaul Miller Zechat Tzadik Abracha noticed the way he walked through, and the thorns. We were American. One of these Alta mirrors. Once saw an American, the way he was putting on his shoes, something says, that's not Americana Fuß, it's American foot, watch out what you're doing, Americans, So they used to, anyway, we went like this, you don't want to get ripped, the thorns were all over the place. And Reb Gershon, Reb Shlomo mentioned it, he walked right through it, and it ripped him, and he didn't chop. And is he bleeding? Oh, I'm bleeding. Oh, that's so interesting. I ripped my pants. Oh, that's nice. Another prat, it could be. The way he passed. I remember I asked Marty Castle, I asked him, no, we were standing behind the machitza, looking at Reb Gershon. He sat like this. But first he spoke to us, and the Beis Habdidus, the way he was makar of us. He's oozing with warmth and simcha. He was real Novandik. That was the Alta. Warmth and simcha. And I asked, no, Marty, what's your opinion? We both look at him. It was such a thing to look at. Like he walked around with a straight back, like a general. They say the Alta was like that. And it wasn't because in Kelm, other shitas, they teach you how to walk like this. The Alta Slobodka did to get his boys to have straight backs. Everybody in Slobodka, you better have a straight back. Self-esteem. Don't walk like a yuckle. No good. There's somebody, they say he wasn't walking straight the way the Alta from Slobodka liked. And as much as he tried, he can't. He says, okay, I got an idea for you. He bought him a new pair of glasses. Rabbi Miller's what? That's what I heard. Miller said it over. He bought him a pair of glasses without temples. Right? And he put him, and then from then on, he straightened out his back. It's not murder the gachap. Don't worry. He straightened out his back by buying him glasses without temples. Now he's walking around all day like this. With time, he was one of the Slobodka boys who walked like he owned the world. By the way, Novandik has also walked like this. But I don't remember them doing, not mainly. The Musa did the job. I once asked somebody, how come Reb Gershon walks like a general? He says, HaMusa, the Musa, the Simcha. They didn't work on no Simcha. Sukkos, 7 days they worked on Simcha. That's it for the end. That's not our thing. Just stop looking for covered and start having b'tachon. And boy, are you oozing with Simcha. That's all. Get rid of the roots of all your depressions, right? Mayom Rabrias. Get rid of all that stuff, and you're b'simcha. I remember someone was mavazing me, and I never felt so good in my life. It was like a load off my shoulders, because till then I had a stress with this guy. What does he think of me? Does he like me? He doesn't like me. Right after he gave me a good bazillion, I was alleviated. Now I don't have to make an impression anymore on this guy. One guy less to impress in my life. He doesn't hold for me? Is that official? That's terrific. Now I can breathe. Less the better. You don't hold for me? It's great. I'm free. I don't recommend, not so fast. You have to be in my madrega for that. Anyway, but I'll tell you, I was once at Bezyanis, and I never davened Shemoneh Esrei like that in my life. I davened in a quiet place. Come inside, make yourself at home. Jack is waiting, the goose is here. Arak. Somebody promised he's going to bring me a vodka with, what was the kind we had last time? A sweet caramel kiss. Oh. Well, it's coming. But in the meantime, we had good old arak. It's good stuff. And goose. And look at this. We got more stuff, new stuff. Look at this. See? Oh, the new stuff. That's Johnny. See? We have Johnny. We're doing well. You know, people tell me, Mendel, I know you. You have Johnny, right? I says, how do you know all that stuff? Oh, we're watching you all the time. Anyway. So, who was I talking about? The Warmkeit. That comes from working on midas. The warmth. You love people. Novandiga didn't go so much into doing. They did plenty in Chesed, Ahavas Yisrael. That was on their agenda. The Kapitchinitzes, Ahavas Yisrael. Just think about it and talk about it. Ahavas Yisrael. Make that part of your agenda. When you're walking in the street, think. If you're not petrified from everybody, think, I love everybody. Just think that. I once did that with a gvir. I needed money. And before I barely knew him, but I started thinking, I love this guy. The next thing I knew was $1,000. I didn't say a word to him. The mind, he sensed, you do that. Try it with your wife when you're angry at her. I like my wife. Do that. Think. You know that in Slabot, I heard two versions. I heard the Chafetz Chaim, someone from the Chafetz Chaim Sever. I think he's a mashgiach today. So Aziz Kite, who is he gewaldig? His name is Minkowitz. He used to be in Lakewood area, became a mashgiach. Kiptarein, Machtachemish. I'm honored to have. Come inside. All the chashuvim are coming. Chashuvim are here already. Anyway, Machtachemish. Anyway, so what was I saying? Where am I up to? Help me out. Yeah. So he said, they have to feel the respect that you have for them. Don't say nothing. Think. I respect this guy. I love this guy. Keep repeating it. You do that. It works. I got $1,000. That was the first 1,000. Ever after, the guy loves me. And he once told me, I love this guy. I barely know him. You think positive thoughts. You can do it with anybody you want. Even your teenage kid that's making him a sugar. Stop telling him I love you, that stuff. Because he says, well, I don't love you. And now you're in trouble. But if you think it, then you play safe. No one sees what you're thinking about. And you can think, I want to tell you something about the mind. In your mind, I once heard it's a saying in the Welt. Your mind, you can make it a Gan Eden or a Gehenna. Your mind is yours. I once said to somebody like Amona and Alman, somebody who never has problems. And I says, you want to be unhappy? Your mind, nobody can tell you how to think. You know how many people who have had something happen to them? Rahman al-Islam, something, a death and something not, and they, you know what they're all stressed about? All these people are going to come saying, they kill you when they do that. You know that? And other people are different. Some people like it. Most people I speak to, I says, you want me to validate you? I'm not into that sugi so much. I want you to improve. Maybe some people need to be validated. You're going to cry alone with me. I've said I can do that better. But what are you going to get out of it? Sometimes you need to hear a guy for an hour till he cries his heart out. Then you can start giving eights. But I don't have the time for that stuff. But not the Kazowitz, that's how one said that. Said, give the guy a full hour of your time and listen to the guy. Then you can start telling him, I don't have time for that. I'm on the phone, I have 45 calls a day. Next! Anyway. So what was I saying? Now, in Slobodka, Rav Hutner was also very into respecting people, but he vocalized it. I heard two different shittas how they did it. Either you could, some made you feel it. I felt my shver zatzal. Rabbi Rotman should be a schus for him. He was plenty good, even though he wasn't a Litvak. All right? I hope the Litvaks don't mind what I just said now. He was a Hungarian Yid, a Thomas. He was plenty good. By the way, there was a Yid in Los Angeles, an Alta Bacha, a sweetie, who never got married. He's a Talmud who saw Yaakov Lipchansky. And he used to talk, he was a man with Teichen, you know. The Olam in LA was like a little Balbatish those days. There was no Kolim, nothing was anything. And he was like a class by himself. He was into learning, and he had Teichen, he had depth. And he used to tell me, Aden's all right, my father-in-law. He's one man who knows what's going on in the world. My chef was a Ben Torah, you know. You could be a Ben Torah. Yeah, only Liquids. I'm joking. Every place. You could be a Hungarian Ben Torah. Where does it say that Ben Torah is only here? Chap. You could even be a Baal Musa, even if you're not part of my club. Not so easy. Joking. Anyway, Baal Musa is much harder than a Ben Torah. Much harder. Not a joke. Being a Baal Musa, Rabban Kreiser once said, to give a shir, mela. But to say a shmuz, you got to live it. Who do you think you are? But I'm already holding big madrega, so I'm allowed to talk. Anyway, so what was I saying? What? What about the Alta? By the way, I'm getting younger. Because when I was younger, I couldn't do what I'm doing now. In my older years, I'm much sharper. You know, I'm more careful. That's probably why I hesitate so much. That's the real reason. You know, never, ever, ever, ever vocalize in negative. Never say I'm getting old. Don't you do that. The body listens, and the body says, you hold, I'm asking. And watch, the next day you walk in and suddenly, hey, I don't feel the same. Don't say you're sick, ever. I feel great. This happened with me with Baron Shechter. Baron Shechter's Kodesh Kedoshim, I have no words for him. Such a holy man, there's no one like him. Baron Shechter. I was once in Chaim Berlin. I was visiting Camp Morris. Baron Shechter knows, he says, get in touch with so-and-so. That's good for you. You know what they did? Shir Fisherman said, you be friends with so-and-so to lift you up. You hear that? Become buddies with one of the top guys. Don't be, what, are you afraid of Gaiva? It'll boost you up. What's so terrible? Anyway, so I told her Baron Shechter didn't look so great. They wheeled him in, and I said, Azag, before Shalema, he went out of his kalim. What before Shalema? What? For Shalema? What are you telling me here? And boy, I chopped it so well. No refuah shalem, I'm fine. Don't ever tell a guy you're not looking good. A guy once killed me. I wasn't feeling well. It was taka bad news. And he met me at a chassan, a relative, and he takes a look at me and says, oh boy, do you look terrible. I told myself, until you came along, it wasn't so bad. Now you made it official. You want to hear a story about, you got to watch what you're saying? A boy in my class, a sweetie, but he's a little wild, so what? Someone came over to me and told me, that kid's in your class? Oh, is he a handful? Boy, he's going to make you dizzy. That day, the kid acted up one after another. I didn't say nothing. As soon as you hear, that's a Lashon Hara, so it's poison. And especially Lashon Hara on yourself. Poison, that's why what I do all day, I try to do. I must say there is, to counteract all the Lashon Hara I'm saying about myself, and I say, that's wrong, I'm just the opposite. That's wrong. I don't care if I feel it, I mean it. Just get that Lashon Hara. How can you function with Lashon Hara? I'll tell you a story with a certain Rosh Yeshiva that the Elam didn't like. And he was a great person. He used to get the money. He was a tzaddik. I want to say this a little in Shmos. Nobody knows what I'm talking about. But there was politics, and they knocked him. They didn't like him, whatever. And as soon as they did that to him, he became somewhat dysfunctional. How you doing? Come inside. Come inside. Come. Jack is here. Grey Goose is here. Make yourself at home. This is your place. Johnny, this guy, Anik, for all the Sephardic. I have a Sephardic taste, by the way. You don't have to be Sephardi. You know, they used to have an advertisement. There was Levy's Jewish rye bread. They used to have signs all over New York, big advertisements. Now, Schwarzer kid with a big smile and big white teeth. You know, when he's black, you see the white, the contrast, and he has white teeth, and he looks, and he's holding a piece of Levy's Jewish rye. It was called Levy's Jewish rye bread. Jewish rye bread. And there was a big sign, and it said, "You don't have to be Jewish to eat Levy's." And there's a Schwarzer guy. I want to tell you about advertisements. He used to be a cigarette. I'll say already, I'm falling in already. What can I do? You know, someone showed me some sefer that Avraham Avinu had to lower himself when he went into Kiruv. Some sefer says it. And someone else, I swear it says, and Neiman Melech says such a zach. And so, even though I'm a super high madrega, no matter what's going to happen, my madrega is always, by me, it's a kasha inside of some sefer and inside the Neiman Melech. Even though I became into Kiruv very big, but I only get bigger every day. I don't chak. You get low. But anyway. So what was I saying? So I used to be Marlboro cigarettes, and they used to have advertisements for that. Listen to this one. Everybody smoked Marlboro. What was Marlboro? Anybody knows anything about cigarettes, or it's already it's chas v'sholom. I'm already like. I don't smoke, but I know about it. I'm not. You're a high madrega, I see. Yeah, look, but Marlboro, they used to have pictures. They used to sell like crazy. Everybody was thinking. I always wondered, what's this Marlboro? I used to smoke a different kind. I liked something, whatever, menthol. I liked that. What? Camel. Oh, that wasn't easy. There was no filter there. I don't know. Torture without a filter. Anyway. I would take this, whatever. They had some cherry flavored cigars. Remember that? Anyway. So Marlboro, that was by far the most popular cigarette there was. What was the secret of Marlboro's success? I'll tell you what. There were signs all over. Come inside, whoever comes to me, I give you a buah. You're going to have great life, everybody. Chayim tovim l'chol hadayis. Come inside. Yeah, you know, that's what I want to hear. Let's stay like this, but let's keep saying that, so it's more. Anyway, so Marlboro. So there's a picture. They write, you smoke Marlboro. A thinking man smokes Marlboro. And there's a picture of a guy, a shegitz, cool looking shegitz holding a Marlboro, and he's thinking. He looks like he's hovering over a tasters or something. A thinking man, be a thinking man, and smoke. I promise you, and smoke Marlboro. And then there's pictures of young men and women staring at him, all looking at him the way he's smoking Marlboro. What's the message? You want COVID? Smoke Marlboro. Look at everybody looking. The guy who smokes Marlboro, in your brain, people are stupid enough to fall for that. They fall for it. Believe it, you think it's a joke? It's the advertising, Shabbat. People fall for it. I like lead pencils. I went to the store for a lead pencil, and I like very good ones. Lately, I'm using anything. I've shown the Alton Kelm had a very expensive pen. When you write, you're very tired. Do it geschmack. Anyway, so I like a good lead pencil. I want to be able to erase and underline when I'm learning, whatever. So I wanted a good lead pencil. I go to the store, and there were a couple of young fellows. My 4 guys were standing there. Nice guys, schkutzim. And they said, they said, the four guys were standing there, and I asked them, what? I want the best lead pencil you got. So they all four, pe'echad, they're all the same. I says, come on. They're all the same. And pe'echad. And there was like 10 different varieties over there. This one, the red one, a green one. This one looks this way, that way. They said, it's all the same. So I says, okay, which is the one that everybody uses? So they'll point that one. Is it better? No way. So why did he use it? Because it's the most advertised. Ounces in cup. We're going to advertise Musa. If Musa gets the right advertisement, the whole place will be learning Musa. You think I'm joking? The only way I'm able to do this, to learn more, is because when I saw the way Rabbi Gershon learned Musa, was here in Gan Eden. The way he learned Musa, they took off their hats. I don't remember putting on that for Musa. That's my, in the body, take off your hat, chill out. You have problems, learn Musa. Musa is a hobby. In Nevada, it's a hobby. What things are bothering you? Learn Musa. Musa answers it. By me? It's for sure. I know. I have. You know, in Breslau, see them. One of the cheshens, he was here as sweetie. He told me himself. He told somebody that Shlomo Cheshen's brother, a very chashuv mensch, he was here for the Mishalim. He said that. He told the guys who have the issues, you have this issue, that issue. I don't have your problems because I spend an hour a day talking to Hashem. That's by me, it's similar. It's sit there, write down what's bothering you, make a joke out of it, and learn. I cannot type about and say it a few times. That's so delicious, learning Musa. And if it's not working, how much schar you going to get? Now listen to this, Rabbi Isaac. Yaakov Avinu said, Ulai yimusheni avi. Now the Gemara in Makis is Nerva, Mitzvah Lefasim, and Gemara in Makis is world famous. But the emes is Yaakov. Which one is that? It's a pasuk. Yaakov is the epitome of emes. Why? Because he didn't want to say sheker, but he said sheker. But he said, I don't want to get in trouble with, if I lie and make believe I'm Esav, then I'm in trouble. So because he said I don't want to lie, he had a good negir. He doesn't want to get cursed by Chas v'Shalom, right? His mother said, don't worry. But because he didn't want to lie for a negir yet, he's called Ish Emes. The epitome is Shtik Emes. Now, who is the biggest masbid in Lakewood? The guy that would like to learn and it's not making it. No? Who is the biggest Baal Chesed in whatever? The guy that talks all day, I wish I could do Chesed, but it's not happening. According to this Gemara. How do you like that Gemara? It's a bomb. No? It's a bomb. All the guys who want, Rahman Aliba boy, once you're trying and you want, Abish has Rahmanis, all those people that, all the Nebuchs. Nobody's a Nebuch. You think you're a Nebuch. It's all in your head. Your mind is your boy. No one can tell you what to think of. Now I come into a crowd and I'm intimidated because there's a lot of chashuv-looking guys over there. I don't know how to deal with it. So sometimes I tell myself, who wants to be chashuv? Who needs that garbage? I like to be Mr. Nobody. Like they say, I'm pleasantly plump. I'm pleasantly, bless this mess. When you have a junky house, the house looks a little bit not so, your wife isn't so good at it. Bless this mess. I like it. So I'm messy. So I like messy. I like being a little bit not so, I'm a little crazy, like everyone else. But you accept your brain, you learn Musa. Learn Musa, you don't care. You should know, in Novandik, whenever I had trouble, people chepping me, I always got the same answer. It's kinna. That's a healthy way to go. The guy's jealous of you. He's chatting. Oh, he's jealous. That's the standard. That's what you got to always do. He's jealous. But I'm such a yokel and he's so much bigger. He's jealous. That's the way to go. I heard this kama pama. And difference baloney and it's nothing. Anyway. If you spend your mind as such power, you sit down and force yourself to think positive thoughts. Watch what happens. Achlal, just positive. Think happy thoughts, any kind of happy thoughts. Trach gut, the tzemach tzedek. Trach gut, it's zayin good. Think happy thoughts. And the more negative you are, the more you mekayim a mitzvah of having b'tachon. Do you know how many, the Beis Halevi, all the Rishonim speak, do you know how many psukim there are to have b'tachon? Rabbi Beis Halevi says you can't count them. Every other pasuk, b'tachon, 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 Yeshaya, Yirmiyah, Tehillim. Oh boy. B'tachon, b'tachon, b'tachon. How come there's so much psukim? The whole Tanakh is flooded with psukim of b'tachon. Why? Because that's what a yid is supposed to be, and that's how much chizik he needs. You take a look. The Chavis Abava starts off with, he has Yeshaya, 2 psukim in Yeshaya, 3 psukim in Yirmiyah, 2 psukim in Yechezkel. He has something like, he has like a whole list. Every pasuk is saying the same exact thing. Al tira mehem, al techos, mipneihem. Al techos, al tira. It's all the same thing. Tira, techos, don't be afraid, don't be afraid, don't be afraid. What's he repeating himself? Worldly psukim. So I wanted to say, because you wanted to get in there, you got to repeat. It's not going to work. Guy says, "Kol madarach manol tavav" at one time. No. Say it 10 times. Now it's sinking in 50 times. I know a yid. I never met him, but he used to call me on the phone. He had a serious issue with a court case, and he won. He was petrified until he called me. The FBI agent was knocking at the door when he called me. And the FBI agent was already against the party that was going to get thrown in jail for 10 years. Someone in the family. And I can't say the details what happened. It was a pachad pchadim what happened there. And they had his number. The guy was dead. This person wasn't worth a penny. They were going to, mamish, let him have it. And the father and the mother were going. I called up the Rosh Yeshiva. They're talking too much. It just gets out in the street. They'll never, their details, forget it. Anyway. So I told the guy, b'saif he won. So the detective came in. He knocked the detective. He's on the phone. Man, Rabbi, the detective came. I said, "Shtusim ba'avolim, he ain't gonna bother you." Listen, and he was out to kill him. And suddenly the detective said, let's overlook that stuff. How do you like that one? I said, "Afanot, my b'tachon on the telephone." B'tachon. He ended up winning, but I had a hard time speaking to him and his wife all day. They were on the phone. He says, "Eibishter, take care of them. Eibishter, take care of them." Did they win? And he told me, he said, "Hakol yachol 1,000 times. You say 1,000 times, you won." It's not easy. He did another thing. He heard, what's his name? 2 hours a day. He holds from him, he's a Rav in Muncie, Waxman. Waxman's underrated. Waxman's gewaldig. So I'm here to advertise Waxman, by the way. I'd like everybody to listen to Waxman. Mandel's not bad either, by the way. I'm going to listen to Waxman. It's all the same. It's us. I heard that Bells is doing great stuff. What Bells? We're doing great stuff. What's Bells? Don't give me that garbage. It's us. Where's the actors? Out of your mind. You can make a stumble. Well, they're a different type. Whoa! We're making it. The frum Jews are making it. I had it ever. Never do that. The brisk is. What are you doing? Us. We have brisk. It's us. If you say that, Hashem gives you schar together with them. In the next world, you're one of them too. You're not like, okay, we'll give you what you held and that you didn't hold from. Okay, you're getting what you are, and that's not part of your schar. Yeah, that's how it works. You got to become part of the group. So I am very happy to be part of this olam. It's us. All together, the more achtas you have, the more schar you're going to get. Anyway, where am I up to now? I must be getting younger. Anyway. Anyway, where am I up to? Oh? Achtus. That's right. Achtus. Now, so, do you know where that warmth in the Varda came from? This is X-rated. I want to repeat, it's really X-rated. But I'm going to say it. He gives, man, I can't hold out. It's X-rated stuff. Watch out. Beware. You know how to become warm? You know where menucha comes from? You calm down. And you're not... You know where it all comes from? Learn Shar HaKniya. Machniya. Give in. The whole shar is so relaxing. Watch out, because your ego may be in danger. We have to be careful with another. I'm serious. In fact, I've read a long time ago, Paskin, better be a nervous balgaivanik, because you may end up a calm guy that's doing nothing, because you don't hold nothing from yourself. Shar HaKniya has to be handled with care, but it's Kodesh Kedoshim, because if you first write 100 nice things about yourself, remember, partial true, partial exaggerated, and partial lies, but only good. And then read Shar HaKniya and skip certain parts. Yemamavis can save your life. Thinking that you're going to die, it'll save your life. You know how much stress people have because they think they're here forever? That's Esav. He thinks he's here forever. It's not a mahalach. I once asked him, how do you deal with all your issues? He says, I know I'm leaving the world. You know how much easier it is? So your teeth are not working. This isn't working. So what? So you're not so popular. I'm leaving. I don't live here. I'm not here forever. What's so terrible? Have Yisurim? I saw one of these forums. It says, right? You got Yisurim? You're lucky. Yisurim. Yisurim. Now, what do you do when you get Yisurim? Say, I love all that pain. I like it. You know what they did to the people in Korea? It's a true story. I just heard it. It's an Emma story. That America was at war with Korea. When I was a kid, in the 50s, they were fighting in Korea. North Korea was, everyone killing each other. And they captured a lot of American soldiers. And then 20, 30, 40, I don't know how many years later, they said, okay, you're welcome back. Come home to your mother, your father, your television, your pizza, your girlfriend, or the Americana, the fun. And the climate's more decent than Korea. Korea is disgusting. It's boiling hot, no? Schrecklich. And they're eating rice 3 times a day, and hanging around people that barely know the language. There's no family. Most of the soldiers did not want to go back to America. They were brainwashed. This is good. Korea is a great place. This is no. Eat rice, sit on the ground, no more chairs. Now, I don't know what they do there. But whenever in America, they were busy in Mavatal, America. And before you turn around, they hated America, they loved Korea. He lived happily ever after in Korea. No father, no mother, no brother. I like Korea. You know what you can do to yourself? Tell yourself day and night that you're a great person. That's Aleph. I'm going to tell you a Maisa. True story. Someone comes over to me about his family issues. Oh boy, this member is depressed and that member is depressed. And this one's about to jump off the roof. And that one just is about a basket case. All over the place. And the guy himself was like, he was pretty shaky. Shenemo. A nice, sweet guy at Tzaddik. I says, tell me about your background. Oh, our Zayda. He was Ma'amin Bashem. He had real B'tachon. He was a big Baal B'tachon. He didn't think much of himself. I says, that's the answer to all your problems. A Baal B'tachon and Hashem. What about me? Please. I know the truth about me. Don't call me things that aren't true. Don't say it. You have to say the truth. I know the truth. I know the story. If you would know what I do, if you would only know. Oh, how terrible I am. And you don't mean it when you... People go around with that. It ain't healthy. Now, sometimes it is healthy. And if you can't stop doing it, go for it. You'll have a leiv nishbar. I just said to myself today, I wasn't getting what I wanted. I said, great, I'm a leiv nishbar. I had a problem. Things aren't perfect. I'm a leiv nishbar. Thanks a million. I'm a leiv nishbar. You think a leiv nishbar is a joke? Oh boy. Leiv nishbar, Hashem loves you. If you're nidif, I know a guy, did he have yeshuas? When he was a kid, they used to be regdif him a lot. They used to pick on him. He was the type that you could play games with. He was a very, one of those. And he used to get it. They used to start up with him, bullied, right? Okay, he was one of those. They chupped him. Anyway, this guy grew up. He didn't change. It's his personality. That's sort of, he can't help it. But he davened. He says, Rabbeinu Shalom. It says, Afilu Rasha. And he's a nirdaf. And the tzaddik is right up a Rasha. The Abish is on the side of the Rasha. Do you know the Yalda and Slobodka, they say? Officially. What really happened, I'm not too sure. I heard he would never kick out a Talmud. He wouldn't kick out nobody. You know what he had in Slobodka? You want to hear about bטחון? He had Tshpeb there. He had Chevra that grew up and became the worst of the worst. In Slobodka, he had bums. And one of them was Mekalkal V'Olam. And the whole Hanhola got together, kicked this guy out, and the Alter says, keep me out of that. Yevakesh Hashem es a nirdaf. I do not want to be a regdif. And this guy's going to be a nirdaf. You imagine? Or the Kamaisa. They sent a telegram to Bitzel Petterberg. That's his Rebbe, sort of. Right? And Bitzel Petterberg says, you got to kick the guy out. And the Alter says, they figure, now we'll get the Alter. No, I'm not kicking him out. You want to kick him out? I have nothing to do with it. This guy started davening. Eibishter was a nirdaf. He davened that tefillah, plenty. And things started shining in his life like anything. Things went uphill all over the place. Say it! Yevakesh Hashem es nirdaf. Eibishter, you love me. Even if I'm a Rush, it doesn't matter. I'm the Nebuch. Nebuchs are the greatest. There's nothing like being a good old Nebuch. Then you're going to be a successful person in this world. Hashem loves a Nebuch. What are you going to do? Is that something? Don't look for trouble. But if you happen to be near that. Now, you know how many people? Yeah, I think the Chazon Ish speaks about Musa and Halacha. Chazon Ish wasn't so. Musa, he once listened to a shmooze from the Alter and Slobodka in Tel Aviv, I think it was. When the Alter finished their shmooze, the Alter goes over to him and he tells him, I thought you were misnagdei hamusa. What are you listening to my shmooze for? Because Chazon Ish was known to be against Musa. You know what the Chazon Ish told him? I'm a bigger misnaged to the misnagdei hamusa than I'm a misnaged to the Bali Musa. Chazon Ish, leave it to him. He knew what he was doing.